Please take your Bibles to 2 Samuel 5. I'm going to open in a word of prayer. Dear Lord, I just pray that you'd give me the words to say tonight, have the right tone, Lord, and everything, and just especially that the words would be useful, Lord, that they'd be something that we could use in our life. They wouldn't just be sounding brass and tinkling cymbal, Lord, but they'd be something that people can apply and just maybe an encouragement to some people this evening. In Jesus' name, amen. Now, in our modern society, we have a lot of consumerism. We've got companies, and what they do is they get themselves this brand. They build themselves up, and they give themselves kind of a personality, right? You know, we think of, for instance, we think of Nike. You know, what do you think of when you think of Nike? You think of, you know, running. You think of sports. You think of athletic people doing crazy athletic things. You know, we think of Vans. You think of Skater Kid. You think of, like, you know, the outcasts of the group, for instance. When you think of different shoes, you think of different, you think of like Gucci, it's like, oh, rich people. I mean, it looks stupid, but it costs a lot of money, so it must be pretty great, right? And we see these brands, and they give themselves this personality where this is what they're trying to look like. And they get kids really excited about that stuff. I mean, you can get 100 teenagers to go to a basketball game if you give them free tickets. You can get them if you offer them at half price. You can get a lot of people to go to basketball games, football games. You can get a lot of people to go to these big sporting events. You can get them excited about it. On TV, if you ever see ads for, even golf, let alone football and, baseball and stuff, where they're all playing the intense music and the guy. No, even in golf, Tiger Woods is sitting there. It's not that entertaining when you watch it, but the trailers are like, make it seem like it's the end of the world if this guy doesn't hit this shot, right? And they personalize themselves, and they put themselves like, okay, this is intense, this is exciting, this is real, this is raw, this is something you need to look forward to and see and just get excited about. Here in 2 Samuel 5, we see, I'm going to read just a couple verses here, starting in verse 17 towards the end. When the Philistines heard that they had anointed King David over Israel, all the Philistines came up to seek David, and David heard of it, and went down to the hole. The Philistines also came up and spread themselves in the valley of Rephaim. And David inquired of the Lord, saying, Shall I go up to the Philistines? Wilt thou deliver them into my hand? And the Lord said unto David, Go up, for I will doubtless deliver the Philistines into thine hand. And David came to Baal Perazim, and David smote them there, and said, The Lord hath broken forth upon my enemies before me, as the breach of waters. Therefore he called the name of that place Baal Perazim. And there they left their images, and David and his men burned them. And the Philistines came up yet again, and spread themselves in the valley of Rephaim. So they're going for round 2 here. I don't know what they thought they were going to get, going back to it, but here they are, back here in Rephaim, right? And when David inquired of the Lord, he said, Thou shalt not go up, but fetch a compass behind them, and come up them over against the mulberry trees. And let it be, when thou hearest the sound of a going in the tops of the mulberry trees, that then thou shalt bestir thyself. For then shall the Lord go out before thee to smite the host of the Philistines. And David did so as the Lord commanded him, and smote the Philistines from Geba until thou come over to Gazer. Now today, I think the thing that we've lost in Christianity is that we are not bestirred. Yep. People can get bestirred about sports and fashion and name it. You can name anything. Anything on TV right now. They're not advertising it as something that you don't want to watch, that's boring, that's not entertaining, that's a waste of time. No, it's like life or death. And the thing that we've lost today as Christian teens is our bestirral for Christ. Because we can get excited about whatever. This new album that's coming out from this group, this new shoes releasing, this new clothing line's releasing, this new movie's coming out, this new video game's coming out, right? And we can get excited about that, and we can get pumped up. You can get people to wait in line 4 a.m. for the new Call of Duty, but you can't get them to come to church at 9:45 on Sunday, right? Why is it that the world gets to have all the fun? And why is it that the world gets more excited about something that's fake, that's going to burn up, and let alone, like, not even just talking about when the world melts. I'm talking about, like, 5 years from now. Oh, you got the new Xbox? Well, I have the newer one, right? This new shoe is not so new anymore after you actually wear it. It doesn't look so good when you actually put it on your feet, right? And this word bestirral here, it's a primary root. It's properly to point sharply. It's to wound. To bestir thyself, to decide, to decree. Webster's 1828 says, to put into brisk or vigorous action, to move with life and vigor. Now, I'm going to apply this to something, and I think it's pretty accurate. When you're in church, and let's be honest, everybody's been at church at least one time and you're falling asleep. What do? You pinch yourself, right? That's the name of this message tonight, pinch yourself. We got to get excited. We got to wake up. Amen. Firstly, why should we get excited? Because look, we can say get excited, but if there's nothing behind it, it's just something like, yeah, and then you go home and it's the same. Firstly, your children need you. A couple verses earlier, we see in verse 13, and David took him more concubines and wives out of Jerusalem, And we see later that's a stupid idea, but, after he was come from Hebron, and there were yet sons and daughters born to David. Your children need you. David here, if he loses this fight, because look, the Philistines, they see in verse 17, they heard he's anointed king. They're like, okay, we got to get this guy while he's weak, right? While he's young, while he's still coming up in the world. He has these kids, and look, if David loses here, those kids are toast. The people back then in that area were vicious to kids and women. It was no joke. So his kids are in danger here, and he knows this. He's got to win this fight. He's got to keep winning. It's never a rest, because there's always these massive nations around Israel that are going to close in and take him out. And that's true today too. We see, there's so many things that can get you in your Christian walk, and any one of those things could be alcohol, it could be lust, it could just be consumerism like we're talking about. It could just be, maybe not being quite as excited about church. It could be any of that list, any of the 10 Commandments, and those can really mess your kids' lives up if you fall into those traps. Your generation and our generation is destroying its opportunity. We're ruining our lives of our kids. We can complain about, I wish past generations did better. Okay, so learn from that and do better, right? Amen. It's so easy to say, oh man, I wish my parents, my grandparents, my great-grandparents didn't let this happen to America. Look, we're going to be way further down the road here in 10, 15 years if we don't do something about it, guys. Amen. We're toast if we don't get something going. And the reason that we're not doing it, it's not even because their parents or grandparents said, turned away. No, it's because they settled with mediocrity. They didn't bestir themselves. They didn't get excited. Firstly, your children need you. Secondly, your time is short. Verse 24, and let it be when thou hearest the sound of it going in the tops of the mulberry trees. I think it's pretty clear that's wind. Somebody wrote that that's the steps of the angels. I think that's kind of a cool idea, but we're taking it in the literal sense right now. We got wind, right? So God's saying, look, there's going to be a breeze coming over these trees. As soon as that happens, you better get up and go. Guys, your life is a vapor. Your life is a breeze. We don't have time.
Sorry.
That's it. That's your life. In the bucket of eternity, that little drop, that's your whole life. We don't have time to just waste.
Amen.
You can't kill time without injuring eternity.
Amen.
We burn time so easily as a teenager. We kind of take the teen years as this kind of limbo where it's like, okay, so I've given my life to God. Maybe you're going to full-time ministry, maybe you're not. But we take these years and we say, okay, this is when I get to have fun. And then when I grow up, then I'll serve God. No, that's not how it should be, guys. Because look, we don't even know how many more years we have here. The rapture could be tomorrow. I mean, the signs of the times are here. We know that much, right? We don't know how much more time we have. We got to get going. Our time is short. James 4:14. Whereas you know that what shall be in the morrow, for what is your life? It is even a vapor, right? Ecclesiastes 12:1. This is written by the son of David. Remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth. We gotta get going, guys, because look, we don't know how much more time we have. Our time's short. And this is our one chance to do something with our lives for God. One chance to do something lasting that actually matters, that's going to affect people. Thirdly and finally, your God commands it. Verse 25. And David did so as the Lord had commanded him. So we can take the first two reasons and sure, it's like, okay, those might convince me, but it's not up to you really at the end of the day. We take God's commands and say them as like an option. Really, they shouldn't be an option to us. God doesn't force us. He doesn't, put us in a chicken wing or anything. But they really shouldn't be options to us. They're commands. Yep. And a command from God has two promises tied to it. Firstly, if God tells you to do something, we know that God will give you the power to do it, right? So look, it may look impossible nowadays. It may look ridiculous how it just seems like everything's just we're going to hell in a handbasket. We're toast. We can't do it. It's over, right? But God says that if we call out to Him, He's going to help us, right? You do believe that you have an eternal God with all the power in the universe, right? And He says, if we got to do something, it's not through our power, it's through His. Secondly, with that command from God is a promise to do things, the power, and then a consequence for disobeying. Amen. This is not some, this isn't like picking a meal at McDonald's or something. It's not like, yeah, you could have this or this, they're both good, whatever. No. We have the option of doing the right thing or the wrong thing. Amen. Going out of church and doing bad things behind your parents' back is not just another option, it's the wrong thing. Amen. Our God commands it. So in conclusion, I think it's about time that we as Christian teens get excited about what God has for us. Because look, we're going for an incorruptible crown. Amen. Right? I mean, who in here can actually name the people that won the Super Bowl 5 years ago? Unless you're a total nerd or something, unless you're like a really big fan of the NFL, basketball, 5 years ago. You might remember, right? That's 5 years. That's not even that long of a time. Yep. Most of us probably have fond memories that we feel like yesterday, 5 years ago, right? And we look at it, and it's like, these people get this whole, this whole Super Bowl Sunday, and it's all this build-up. You get high and drunk and whatever, and watch this game that goes on for like 6 hours or whatever it is. And then people forget about it in like months. Like, people might remember who won the last Super Bowl. Maybe, in a couple months. Maybe. Unless you're like a big fan, you're not going to remember. And even if you're a big fan, you're going to forget. These things are not real, guys. No matter what it is. The new shoe, the new video game, right? That's old in 3 years, 4 years, right? The way technology's coming nowadays, you get the new iPhone, and it's like, as soon as you get it mailed to your house, it's like, oh, you want the new one? Like, I just got the new one, right?
Come on.
They leave so quickly because it's fleeting. Yep. And in conclusion, I just want to say, I know it's easy to say, get excited about something. Philippians 2:13, for it is God which worketh in you both to will and to do of his good pleasure. So not only when God tells you to do something, he's not just giving you the promise that he's going to enable you. He'll, if you really want it and you actually step out in faith and go for it, he'll give you the will.
Amen.
It's a verse that I've been thinking about a lot the last couple months because it is very good. It's so easy to say, oh, Christianity, all right, I'll bite the bullet, I'll serve God. Why is it that all the old people are the ones excited about serving God? It's like, you're going to be gone in like 5 years. Why are you so excited? And yet we're like, oh, gotta go to church, gotta go to VBS.
Amen.
Right? It's like, why are all the old people the only ones that are excited? Why can't we get that? They got something. It's not just because they're old. It's not like, it's not just because they have dementia or something. They didn't forget nothing. It's that they've learned something that we didn't. And it's that Christianity is exciting. It's that we have something real, guys. We have something that's going to last. That's going to matter in 20, 30, 40, a million years if you're saved. What you could do tonight could affect you trillions of years in the future. How your eternity shakes out. That's salvation. That's just service. Let's not wait until we're old to get excited. Amen. Let's not wait until Jesus comes back to get with the program, guys, because we don't have very long. Your life's a vapor. We got to get going.
Amen.